about technology and society, my future predictions. Like I was saying in one of my other videos, I want to bring up a subject that's just getting with advancement with technologies. Is that another thing I want to talk about is a distorted perception of reality. So for instance, like if you were to do a questionnaire, right, and you did like a survey and you asked someone, or even if you just were to ask this question yourself right now and say that, do you think in the future, in any time, would it be possible that we could store information on an organic computer, or meaning any living organism such as a plant, for instance? Could we store information on that just like a computer, and then not only store the information in it, but extract the information from an organic life form? And you know, most people would think right off the bat, you probably think that's way over the top, or that's something that's super futuristic. Like if it was possible, it'd be something in 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, or however long. Or there might be people that when they hear that, they would just say, there's no way, it's not possible. You can't even do that. But see, again, is that reality seems to be more science fiction than anything else. In any science fiction story, any story that anyone could ever create, or any idea that anyone could come up with, is that our reality is actually way more over the top than anything you could actually imagine. And that's why kind of like the picture I use on my YouTube channel, a lot of people don't really tend to take the time to really realize that you float on a ball. You float on a ball in the middle of nowhere. And it's like some people forget that sometimes. Nothing is crazier than the reality itself. And what I'm getting to is that a majority of people right off the bat would probably say either, you know, they'd probably say, no, that's not possible. Or if they did think it was possible, they'd probably say, oh, you know, maybe way in the future, 500 years from now, or, you know, 1,000 years from now, or whatever, that might be possible. But again, see, we tend to forget the reality in which we live in. And the fact is that you're already doing it. You're doing it right now, okay? Our brains are organic computers, and people tend to forget that. Now, there's no science, there's no, you know, processor and technology chips in your brain. It's all, you're a living organism. Your brain can store information on it, and then it can pull up that information. Memories that you have when you're a little kid, or a week ago, or yesterday, you can pull up those memories, and memories that you have stored in your brain, and then pull those memories up and remember them, okay? Just as if you were to pull up a file on your computer, you go back, you know, a couple years ago, you want to see a paper or something that you wrote, and you go back into your computer and you pull up that file. It's stored information. Now, regardless of getting into the aspects of how your brain does it, or if it's really storing that information is a physical location, is that the bottom line is that it is stored information, because you're remembering that information, you're retrieving that information, a thought or an image or whatever you're picturing, and it's stored in a part of your brain, okay, in a certain area. And we know that from people who have had head trauma, is that maybe who look back in the past have a hard time remembering things because they damaged a specific part of their brain. And the fact is that their brain is pulling up information, stored information, however you want to look at it, or however the brain does process it, is that somehow it's storing this information. It's remembering things that have happened to you in your past, some really long ago, some short time ago, and you remember these things. And a perfect example of that is, can you remember your birthday? Well, you know, do you remember a birthday when you were a little kid, one of your favorite birthday parties, or a present you got? Okay, you just did it. You just pulled up information stored in your brain, just like a computer. If your brain can store this information, right? So they say an organic computer, that seems way over the top. But you're already doing it. You can store information on it. You can retrieve information on it. And so just like a normal computer, if you can store information, right, just like on a normal computer, and you can extract that information, well, you should be able to do that with your brain too. So again, where do you think technology is going? Is that where we can get so advanced that we understand the brain and all the processes and how it works, and we're getting into stem cell research and manipulating DNA, okay? Is that if we can store information on our computer, would it be so impossible that we could pull that information from someone's brain or download their brain, okay? Again, it goes back to this theory, just like a computer. Once you store if a computer can store information on it, okay, you can store files and images and pictures on it. Well, you can take, you know, an external hard drive, or you can take a USB or flash drive, and you can take whatever information's on that computer and store it on a flash drive, or you can extract it into another computer, and you can pull the exact same information that's on the computer onto another device. Well, if our brains can store information, remember events and pictures and images and scenarios and thoughts and smells from instances that happened in our past, well, would it be so impossible that we could download those or extract that information somehow? Whether those memories be images, pictures, smells, or scents, whatever it is that we should be able to extract those information, right? Because it doesn't make sense to just be able to store it and then you wouldn't be able to extract that information. So I believe, again, just like, this is something that I wanted to mention in my other video, with technology and society, is that, this is, again, something that you think that might be happening right now and we don't even have any idea about it, is that they already may have technologies that can do this, okay, that work with their mind, and that they can actually download, for instance, people's thoughts or memories or images that they're picturing in their head, and then they're extracting that information. So not only could you extract what someone's thinking or certain images or scenarios that happen to them, is that you would be able to download the person's whole entire brain, the process of how they think, their cognitive thinking processes, how that person thinks, how they interact, how they process images and thoughts, and how they think. That could be, your brain could literally be completely downloaded onto however it be done. If you've seen like how they've created the AI, the artificial intelligence, the robots, they even have personality traits, okay? Well, it could get so far to the point as to where that they could not only just download specific events or thoughts of people that were stored in their brain from the past, but you could literally download someone's entire brain, okay, onto an external hard drive, just like a computer. And then you could go through, for instance, like their files, just like a computer, once you download it, and you can let's look up old memories and events and times in their life that you could actually pull up and see, okay? It might seem really far over the top, but remember, is that just like when you initially asked that question, is that to actually forget the reality in which we live right now, is that your brain, how you remember and pull up events, what you did yesterday, okay, when you were a little kid, birthdays, presents that you've got, Christmases, is that you're storing that information. You don't have no computer chips in your brain or technology. It's literally all organic material, okay, living live organisms that somehow is storing that information, and is storing information not only from the past but in the present. What you're processing right now is being stored and processed by your brain. So again, does it really seem that far-fetched that you should be able to extract that information? I believe that's what they're working on.